Hey John, I thought the best thing to do would be reply with a video so that you could see the things I was looking at. So the first thing I noticed when I opened up your build here was that these screws here are missing. It's there, it's on the other one, and it's on the other side as well. If I flip this thing around, we can see the other side. So the screws for one side of the pattern mount mounting to the cross channels are missing. It looked like all the screws are over here. The next thing I noticed was when I went in and looked, I see that you put screws on these 4 holes. And that's actually perfectly acceptable. It's just not what was described in the video and not what we physically built. And then I noticed that these screws here was not making it to the end. Now the problem here, and this is it, this is a 0.25 inch screw. We were supposed to use the 375 inch that went from the cross channel into the pattern mount. And the reason is the amount of threads. So you have just a few threads here. You want your screw to span the gap and pick up these additional couple of threads on the other side there. And because you've got the 2.25 screws there, it's not making that gap. So we definitely want the 375 screws there. Then we'll have the 2.5 screws coming in from the front, and then that screw head will end right here, right before it hits this 375 screw that's coming in from the other direction. So that was 1 and 2. Then I said, let me just grab something and try and move it and see what happens. Look at that. That's not good. What I can determine from the way this thing is moving is that you mated this channel with our pattern mounts. You used 2 mates. You mated the faces with a coincident mate, and then you used a concentric mate on the big center circle. And that was it. You need to have at least 2 circles, 2 screw holes that are physically mated or mated through SolidWorks. Otherwise, you can rotate along the single hole like I've just done right here. Now, in the video, I specifically said, hey, we're going to go for diagonals and we're going to shoot for, let me actually straighten this thing back up. And there we go. So what we were shooting for was to have this hole or this one, and then shoot for the other hole up here on the opposite diagonal. So we were actually looking at doing at least these 2 holes going from the outside channel into the pattern mount. So why don't you take care of those things as you can, and try and take care of those before you watch the next video, because it'll be pertinent. You'll see.